Okay, okay, okay. Okay, fine. May I know your name and
Yeah, I'm Himacha.
what is your name?
Himacha. H-I-M-A-C-H.
Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Hi, Imija. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Imija. So today we are going to have a brief introduction about the one of the important tool in the business objects 4.0.
Okay.
Okay. So we are starting up with the business object 4.0. Okay, 4.0. See, before the SAP has taken the business object, the version which was released was business objects 5.0. Then came business object 6.5. Then after the SAP has taken the business objects into its entity, the first release was BOXIR2. Okay, the next release was BOXIR3. Okay, the next release, that is in 2011, the release was BO 4.0, or you can also call it as BI 4.0. Okay, so this is the latest version which was released in 2011. So we are going to deal with that particular version directly now. Okay, so the first thing here in the business objects 4.0 is, so as I already said in our introductory class, we are having, like, we have to create a semantic layer or a metadata layer or a middle layer on the business objects platform in order to generate the reports very easily. So that particular semantic layer or that particular metadata layer is what called as universe. Okay, so we call it as a universe. So to create a report or to generate a report, this universe is mandatory. Okay, so till the previous session, till the previous versions, the making up of the universe is compulsory for the business objects consultant. Okay, now in our present version, there are many other ways also in order to skip the universe, but the making up of the universe is very important for the business objects consultant. The main role and responsibility of BO consultant is to make the universe. So coming to this universe, universe is nothing but it's a semantic layer or a middle layer which is created on the business objects platform to generate the reports very easily. Why? Because the reports are generated by the end users. Okay, the end users would be generating the report. These end users don't have any knowledge about the databases or the data warehouse, or they don't have any knowledge about that, about those things. So for them, the data source would be the universe. So making up of the universe has become very important in this particular perspective. Okay. So first we need to make a universe. After making the universe, this universe would be forming a data source. This universe would be forming a data source for the reports to get generated. So a simple thing is, like, if you are having a database with around 1000 tables, okay, 1000 tables are there, or it may be the data warehouse also with 1000 tables. Now I want to generate the report. So as the reports are generated by the end users, they don't have any knowledge about the databases or what is the structure of it, what are the tables available, and all these things. So as a business objects consultant, what my role would be there is, I would go to this database, make a connection to the database, and create one layer called as universe on the business objects platform with the respective tables which I actually want in my report. So I want to generate the sales reports. So there are 200 sales tables are there. So I would be making a connection to the database or the data warehouse, and I would be getting those 200 tables. I would be getting, okay, those particular 200 tables, okay, into my universe and make a design, okay, and try to generate the reports. Okay.
These
Okay.
100
So this
tables
is
are
how.
converted into universe, right?
No, no, not 100 tables. So I would make.
These 1000 tables are converting into 200.
Yeah, no, no, no. Not 1000 tables would be converting into 200 tables.
The data in them is converting. I'm not getting that one.
What happens is the database would be consisting of 1000 tables. Okay, for example, the entire database. Okay, the entire database has 1000 tables now. Okay, so the in these 1000 tables, 200 tables would be consisting of the sales information. Okay. And my report requirement is I want to generate the sales reports now. Okay, I want to generate the sales reports. So what I do is, as the end users don't know about the databases, so what happens is I would like to make the universe getting those particular 200 tables, I would be making the universe, and this universe would be the data source for the end users to generate the report. Okay. Are you getting my point here?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this creation of the universe is a main point here. Okay. So, I create a universe by, as I am the business objects consultant, I create the universe by making a connection to the databases available. Okay. So, I need to have some tool over here. So I am using basically two tools. One is Universe Designer tool. In short, we call it as an UDT. And the second one would be the IDT, Information Design Tool. So these are the two tools, okay, which I use to create the universe. Okay, which I use to create the universe. So there are some drawbacks with the Universe Designer tool. There are some drawbacks with the Universe Designer tool. So that's why we have gone to the Information Designer tool in our new version. So what is a drawback in the UDT and what is the advantage in the Information Design tool? This we are going to see now. Okay, so IDT stands for Information Design Tool. These are the two tools which we use to create the universe. Okay. These are the two tools which we use to create the universe. Okay, so when we are creating the universe, when we are going and creating the universe, what happens is, see, sometimes there might be the single database. Sometimes there may be the multiple database. For example, if you are having the data established in SQL database and in the Teradata database, okay, and the Oracle database, for example. So the data is established in 3 different databases now, but I want to generate the report. So is it possible or not? That is the first question here. Okay, so in order to generate the report, so first of all, I have to go and generate the universe for sure. I have to go and generate the universe, then only I can generate the reports. So now, my question would be like, can I generate the universe by getting the data from 3 different databases or not? That is the first question. Okay. So by using the Universe Designer tool, I cannot go and get the data from the 3 different data sources or 3 different databases. Means multiple connections are not possible when I am using the Universe Designer tool. Okay, I can connect to either SQL database or I can connect to the Teradata, I can connect to the Oracle database, but I cannot connect to all the 3 databases at once. Okay, so that is a drawback in the Universe Designer tool. So by using the Universe Designer tool, I can create the universe, but I can create the universe by the data either on the SQL or on the Teradata or on the Oracle. But I cannot get the data from 3 different data sources at once into the universe. Means my universe would not be supporting the multiple connections when I go for the tool called as a Universe Designer tool. Okay, so this is a drawback in the Universe Designer tool. Okay, so that's why they have introduced a new tool called as Information Designer tool. This Information Designer tool would be helping me to create the universe, okay, from the getting the data from the 3 data sources. Means by using the Information Designer tool, I can create the same universe, but I can make the multiple connections. I can connect to the SQL data source, I can connect to the Teradata, I can connect to the Oracle and get the data into the universe and generate the report. So this is how I do. Okay, so the drawback in the UDT is I cannot create the multiple connections by using the Universe Designer tool. So I can create the universe, I can create the universe making the multiple connections by using the Information Designer tool. So this Information Designer tool, okay, this Information Designer tool is a tool which was introduced in the Business Office 4.0. Okay, so UDT was a tool which was used in the previous version, that is B4XI R3. Okay, so nowadays we are not using the UDT, so we are using the Information Design tool. So I am also using the Information Design tool here in order to explain you the concept. Okay, so any doubts still here, Sumita?
No.
Yeah, right. So only one thing, they would be asking you, what is the drawback in the Universe Designer tool, or what is the drawback in making the universe in the 3.0? 3.0 is the previous version. So you have to say like, I can create the universe by using only the single connection. Okay. Whereas in the Information Design tool, that is in the IDT, I can create the universe by multiple connections. I can create the universe by using the multiple connections. So that is what's called as an Information Design tool. Okay. So now let's go and start up with the Information Design tool. So this is how your server looks like, Sumitra. Okay. So in this, I need to go to Start, All Programs. In all programs, I am having like the SAP Business Objects BI Platform 4, Business Objects BI Platform Client Tools. In the client tools, I am having something called as Information Design tool. Okay, so click on this Information Design tool. So this is how your information design tool looks like. Okay. So here you would be having the repository sources. Okay.
What's that?
It's like a repository sources. 1 second. Yeah. I'll tell you. Okay. So this is how your information design tool looks like. Okay. So here, first of all, you have to connect to the repository. Repository is a place where you put the developed and the developing objects. Okay, that's called as a repository. Repository is a place, means you can call it as a server, basically. Repository is nothing but where you put the developed and the developing objects, that's called as a repository. So once you double click on this, okay, you can connect to the repository. Okay, so this is a system. Okay, this is actually our system, and this is the username, and this is the password of that particular system. You can basically call it as an application server. So, okay, so I'm having like repository resources. I have connected to the repository by putting my username and the password. Now, here I have to create the project now. I have to create the project. So what do you mean by the project here? The project is nothing but whatever the universe we are creating. So all this thing would be in one particular what you call like a folder kind of thing, that's called as a project. Okay. So first of all, I have to create a new project over here. So I need to give the project name. I give the project name as Imaga. Okay, and this is the project location where the project would be stored. So I can just click on finish. So here comes the project name. So after creating the project, so what is our next step would be? Can you tell me what is our next step? See, as this is a database, so I need to make a connection to the database. This is a database. I need to make a connection to the database from the universe. Okay, so now I would like to make a connection. So while making the connection here, in this information design tool, I am having two types of connections in the. Okay, one is relational connection. One is relational connection, okay, which would be connecting to the relational databases, RDBMS. Okay. The second one would be the OLAP connection. Means that would be to the SAP system. Okay, if you are having an SAP environment and all these things, okay, then you go for the OLAP. Otherwise, you can go for the relational connection. Okay, if you are having like, if you are connecting to the RDBMS, then you go for relational connection. If you are working with the SAP environment, you have to go with the OLAP connection. Okay, so now I am using, by default, I would be having a database called as Access 2007. Okay, so that would be the relational connection. Okay, so let's go here and go to the project, select your project, right click on this in order to click on new, and you would be having something called as relational connection. So click on this to make a relational connection. So this is a resource name. So I would be naming the connection in such a way like I have to reuse the connection once again. Okay, means either the description or the resource name must be in such a way like I have to reuse it once again. Okay. So I would like to go for the resource name as C underscore 1. So in the description, I would like to go for relational connection connection 1. So I can just click on next. So here are the databases. Here are the databases to which I am going and connecting. Okay. So I am using by default the Access database. I am using the Access database. So go for Microsoft Access 2011. In that you would be having the ODBC driver. Okay, I'm having ODBC drivers. What do you mean by ODBC drivers? ODBC is like Open Database Connection Drivers. Okay, ODBC stands for Open Database Connection Drivers. Okay, what is this ODBC does? These ODBC are the drivers. Means, for example, if you are having a database, okay, and you are trying and connecting, means you are making a universe and you are connecting to the database. So to make that particular connection proper, we are going to first make the ODBC drivers. So these drivers would be acting as a bridge. These drivers would be acting as a bridge between the database and the universe. One end of the database drivers would be connected to the universe, the other end would be connected to the database. So this ODBC driver would be acting as a bridge between the universe and the databases for the free flow of data from the database into the universe. Okay, I would like to tell you a simple example here. See, you are making a software, or you are not a software actually. So in your laptop, you are trying to connect to a printer. So the printer is there, laptop is there, but you need something there. That is what called as drivers. These drivers would be helping you to communicate from both the sides. Okay, from the laptop as well as from the printer. In the same way here also, these drivers would be helping you to communicate between the database and the universe. Okay, so it helps in the free flow of data from the database to the universe. That's what is called as ODBC drivers. Open Database Connection Drivers. Okay. Any doubts still here?
No.
Now, if you don't understand at any point, please stop me. Okay. ODBC drivers, then I can just click on next. So once I click on next, it will be asking, as you are connecting to the database, it would be asking me the authentication. So I say like, the authentication is use the business objects credentials only. Okay, and each database would be having certain data sources. So in that, the data source name I am having, okay, that particular data source name is what called as club. So let's go to the club and go for test connection and click on OK. Club is a data source, Himaja. Okay, what is the data source?
The particular one, what you are going to use for.
Yeah. So in the databases, as I said, or in the data warehouse, you would be having all the relevant data in the form of tables. And that relevant data in the form of tables would be forming the data sources. So here I am using a club as a data source. I am using the club as my data source. So as I am using club as a data source, it would be consisting of all the data it would be consisting of all the data, okay, which is relevant to the club, okay, which is relevant to the club. Okay, so which is relevant to the club. Club is like the resort. Okay, whatever the data which is relevant to the resort, everything would be saved in the form of tables in the club as a data source. So this club as a data source is in the MS Access 2007. Okay, so now let's click on next. Okay, so here you would be having the parameters, connection parameters you call it as. Means when I am making the connection, this connection must be active for how many minutes? Okay, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, like that. Okay, or you are having some modes over here. You want to keep the connection active, or you want to disconnect after each transaction, or you want to keep the connection during the whole session. Okay, so in these three modes, I need to fix one mode so that the connection would be active all the time. So I say like keep the connection active for 10 minutes. Okay, these are the default time given. If you want to increase it, you can increase it. Not a problem at all. Okay, now we are having something called as array fetch time. So what do you mean by array fetch time? And array bind size. So these are the two things we are having, array bind size and array fetch size. What, first of all, let us know like what is array. What would be the array? What is an array? Array is nothing but bunch of, bunch of rows is what called as array. Okay, bunch of rows is what called as array. Okay, so here array bind size means to form one array, the bind size is 5. Means 5 rows would be forming one array. 5 rows would be forming one array. Okay, and array fetch size means how many arrays would be fetching? 10 arrays would be fetching. 10 arrays are fetched up when one query is run. When one query is run, 10 arrays would be fetched up. Each array would be consisting of 5 rows. Means totally how many rows would be coming up? 10 arrays would be coming up. Okay, each array would be of 5 rows. So how many arrays, how many rows would be coming up once the query run? How many rows would be coming? Huh?
5 rows.
50 rows would be coming up. Array fetch size means 10 arrays would be fetching. Each array would be consisting of 5 rows. 5 into 10 arrays, that is 50 rows would be coming up. Okay, so 50 rows would be coming up. 50 rows would be coming up. And the login timeout is 600 minutes. Means the entire session would be of 600 minutes. After 600 minutes, automatically it comes out. Okay, so these are called as connection parameters, or you can also call them as configuration parameters. So these configuration parameters would be helping us to improve the performance of the universe. How means, see here, array bind size is 5. So 50 rows would be fetching up, okay, once the query runs. If I am having something called as 500 rows are there. So 500 rows means how many times the query has to run now? Once the query run, I would be getting 50 rows. So how many times must the query run in order to get 500 rows? 10 times have to run. So instead of running 10 times, what I can do is, I can increase the bind size and I can increase the fetch size. So that what happens now? The query runtime would be less. If I made this 10, okay, then what happens? If I made this 10, then what happens? The query can run only 5 times. Okay, so by which my performance would be obviously increased. Okay, so this is how it goes. So these are what called as an configuration parameter. So using this particular configuration parameter, you can basically improve the performance of your universe. Okay, they will be asking in the interview these questions. How could you improve the performance? You can tell that by using the configuration parameters in the connections, I can improve the performance. Now I can just click on next and finish in order to make the connection. So here is the connection. So C underscore imager1 dot cnx. Dot cnx is the file extension for the connection. Okay. So this is the name of the connection, this is the description of the connection, and these are the parameters, means to which particular network layer it has been connected to which particular database it has been connected to, what is the data source you are using, so what are the configuration parameters, so all these things would be in the connection. Okay. So now, if you want to edit the connection, you can edit by clicking on edit. So once I click on edit, you can change the everything. You can change the data source, you can change the configuration parameters, everything could be changed by clicking on edit. If you want to change the database itself, then you can go for the change driver. Once I go for change driver, so I can change the driver here. Instead of Microsoft, I can use any of the databases over here. Okay. So this is how it goes on. Okay. Any doubts in this? So after making a connection, I can save the connection. After saving a connection, I would like to export this connection. Publish connection to the repository. Okay, so I am using a publish connection to a repository. Means, see, till now the connection is in my local system. Okay, got my point. Till now I have made a connection in my local system. So I want to export it to the repository. Okay, so for that I have to publish a connection to the repository. Means I have to save the connection to my server system. So for that, I would go and select publish connection to a repository. So once I click on next, okay, so I can publish the connection to the repository, and I can save that in the common connections, or you can create your own folder and you can save it in that particular thing for the reusability purpose. So, and you can create a new folder, insert folder, and you can save the connection in there, or else you can normally click on finish so that the connection would be saved in the common connection. Okay. So once I click on finish, now what happens is it would be saying like the connection was published successfully, but a shortcut is created to this main connection. A shortcut is created, okay, in the local folder, which would be giving the reference to the main connection. Okay, so that particular shortcut would be created over here. This shortcut would be with a file extension called as .cns. .cns is nothing but the shortcut which is created to the main, this thing. Okay, this is a shortcut created to the main connection. The main connection would be saved in the repository in reference. In reference to this main connection, we have one shortcut here. Okay, this shortcut would be created in our local folder. This shortcut would be created in our local folder. Okay, now I can I just go and make one more connection. Why? Because relational connections. I am using the information design tool in order to make the relational connections, multiple relational connections. So what I do is I go and make a one more relational connection here. So go here and click on new, and here you are having a relational connection. So I say like C underscore immersion two. I can say like relational connection 2. Now I will click on next. So again, you connect to the same data source over here, same ODBC connection, and click on next. Okay, so I would like to go for the credentials over here, and in the data source name, I would like to say the eFashion as my data source. eFashion is one more data source in the same database with the fashion tables, actually means the articles, the accessories, and which category it falls. Okay, all these things would be there in the eFashion as your data source. So select this one and go for test connection. Okay, and click on next, and click on finish. So one more is created. I save this second connection and try to publish connection to our repository, and again what happens is a shortcut would be created to the main connection now. So using these particular connections, I am connecting to the data sources from in a relevant database. So using these connections, I have to get the data from the databases into my universe. That's what we are doing now. Okay, so I can just click on finish. Yeah. Okay, so I have created the connections now. So this is the main part in the universe designing, okay, where you are going and creating the connections to the respective databases and getting the relevant tables into the universe. So today we have seen how to make a connection, as today is the first day. So what we will do is, let's stop it over here. So we have made a connection. So now using this particular connection, how to get the data into the databases, from the databases into the universe. So this thing we are going to discuss in our next session, that is tomorrow. Okay, Nimrata, any doubts in this? Stay here.
Can you explain the exercises and by itself and not
Okay. See, array is nothing but combining of the rows is what called as an array. Okay, array is nothing but the combining of rows. Array fetch size, array bind size, bind size means binding up of the array. Okay, binding up of the array is what called as array bind size. Okay, this array is nothing but binding of rows. So one array bind size is 5, means 5 rows would be binded up together to form one array. Okay, means 5 rows would be combined together to form one array. Next one is we are having array fetch size. Array fetch size is 10, means when once the query run, 10 arrays would be fetched. Each array would be consisting of 5 rows. 10 arrays would be fetched up. 10 arrays would be fetched up. 10 arrays would be fetched up, okay, with a bind size of 5. Means 5 rows would be combining to form one array. So how many arrays are fetched like that? 10 arrays are fetched up. So totally how many rows would be there? One array is 5 rows. 10 arrays are fetched up. Okay. So how many rows would be there? 50 rows. That's what. If I increase the bind size to 10, now what happens? Means one array would be 10 arrays. So 10 arrays means one array is 10 rows. So 10 arrays would be how many rows? 10 into 10. 100 rows. 100 rows. 10 into 10, 100 rows. Means once the query run, okay, once the query run would be giving me 100 rows. Previously it was only 50 rows. So this is how it goes. If for example 500 rows are there, how many times my query has to run? 5 times. In previous thing, 10 times. Okay, so that is the difference. Means 5 times has been saved now. Okay, so that is what would be improving the performance of my universe. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is how it goes on. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see like how to get the tables and how to put it into the what you call like how to make the reports. Okay, so all these things. Sorry, how to make the reports, not okay. How to use these connections and get the data into the universe. Okay, these things we are going to see in tomorrow's session. Okay. Tomorrow at what time will you have a session?
2:30, right?
Yeah, 2:30. Exactly. Okay. Fine. Then take care. Bye. We'll meet up tomorrow.
Okay. First version 65.0655. 4.0.